something in my DNA start beating. I don't understand the words, but it has some kind of genetic connection. Because I think that our ancestors from Guyana were brought from Ghana, brought by the British to Guyana, South America, and something inside of me tells me I know the kind of language, or I know the rhythm of the language. Today I will try to be very surgical in what we want to do today. I am not worried that I would leave out some things about the text, because I know you have a very capable pastor who will pick up what I leave out. I will just highlight certain things. I will say to you what Zsa Zsa Gabor said to her fifth husband. This would not be too long. This would not be too long. It's John 4, chapter 4, verse 3 through 9 that was read in your hearing. Jesus had some very, very interesting ways of how he went about teaching. But of all of the teachings that he did, nothing was better than when he showed them what to do. I rather see a sermon than to hear one any day. I rather want to walk with me than merely say there's a way, for the eye is a better pupil and far more willing than the ears. Fine counsel is confusing, but examples always clear. Jesus was tired of the scribes and the Pharisees. They had no need of a physician. So he turned and he said, I am going through Samaria. I am going through Samaria. Apparently, Jesus went to Judea, and now he was returning to Galilee. Judea, if you recall the map, is in the south, and Galilee is in the north, and Samaria is west of the Jordan. And the scriptures did not tell us how Jesus got to Judea the first time, but it said that when he was coming back to Galilee, he said, instead of crossing the Jordan to avoid Samaria, he is going to go through Samaria. You see, there are some gospel imperatives. Imperatives mean absolutely necessary. Must be done. It's a compulsion, an inner command. Jesus felt this command when he said, I must go through Samaria. It's the imperative, like says, go ye therefore into all the world and teach the gospel. You do not have an option. It's a gospel imperative. And it was on this imperative that Jesus says, I must go through Samaria. Stop, Jesus, stop. The Jews have nothing to do with the Samaritans. How come? Well, it's a long story. If it's a long story, how come it's still valid? I mean, this has been going on for centuries. How can a story that has been going on for centuries be still valid? That there are enemies between the Jews and the Samaritans. There's a thing that you call socialization. Socialization is a process by which one generation passes on its values to another generation. So if the Jews and the Samaritans were not getting along 100 years ago, There is something that the adults were doing to the children that passes on the hatred and the separation between the Jews and the Samaritans. It's socialization. The adults were the ones that were guilty of passing down the prejudice.